The lights dimmed, and silence swept across the crowded auditorium. A single spotlight found a small girl standing at the center of the stage, clutching a microphone with trembling hands. Her dress was simple, her shoes worn, and her eyes, wide and uncertain, searched the audience as if she didn't belong there. But that night, the world was about to discover the voice of a hero. Her name was Lily Carter, a 15-year-old girl from a small town where dreams rarely made it past the city limits. Life hadn't been kind to her. Her father had passed away when she was 9, and her mother, struggling to make ends meet, cleaned houses during the day and worked at a diner at night. Music had always been Lily's escape. When the noise of the world grew too loud, she would sing softly to herself in their tiny kitchen, her voice echoing against chipped walls and the hum of an old refrigerator. Lily had always wanted to sing on a big stage, but she never believed she was good enough. Her mother often told her, "You have a gift, sweetheart. Don't hide it. One day, your voice will lift someone else up, just like it lifts me." Those words stayed in her heart, even when the world seemed to forget her. When the national singing competition announced open auditions in the nearby city, Lily hesitated. The thought of standing in front of thousands terrified her. But when she saw her mother quietly placing her last few dollars into an envelope labeled, "For Lily's Dream," she knew she had to try. The day of the audition arrived with pouring rain. Lily and her mother took the early bus, their clothes damp, their hearts racing. The waiting hall was filled with contestants wearing glittering outfits and carrying expensive instruments. Lily felt small, invisible. Some contestants glanced at her with pity, others with amusement. She wanted to run, but her mother squeezed her hand and whispered, "You belong here." When her name was finally called, Lily walked onto the stage. The judges barely looked up from their notes at first. One of them, a tall man with sharp glasses, muttered, "Contestant number 142, whenever you're ready." The crowd barely noticed her. Cameras panned lazily, the audience expecting another nervous performance to forget. But then, the music began. The first notes of "Hero" filled the air, and Lily closed her eyes. The sound that followed was fragile at first, gentle, like a whisper, but it grew with every word. Her voice carried pain, hope, and a strength she didn't even know she had. Each lyric seemed to come from the deepest part of her soul, as if she were singing not just for herself but for everyone who had ever felt unseen. By the chorus, the room was completely still. Even the judges had lifted their heads, eyes fixed on the girl before them. One of them, the toughest and most stoic of all, blinked rapidly, his pen falling from his hand. As Lily sang the final line, her voice broke just slightly, raw and real. The last note hung in the air like a prayer. Then came silence. A full 5 seconds passed before the first tear fell, from a judge who whispered, "That was extraordinary." The audience erupted into applause. People stood, clapping and cheering, shouting her name. Lily's mother, standing backstage, covered her mouth as tears streamed down her face. The judges, one by one, stood too. The tall man with glasses leaned toward his microphone and said, "Lily, we've seen thousands of contestants. But what you just did, that was more than singing. That was truth." Lily couldn't stop shaking. She smiled through tears, whispering, "Thank you." In the days that followed, her performance went viral. Clips of her singing spread across social media, touching millions. Comment sections filled with stories of people who said her voice gave them courage to face their own pain. One message read, "I lost my mom last year, and your song helped me feel her again. Thank you for being my hero." But the journey wasn't without its challenges. The sudden attention brought pressure. Reporters showed up at her school, fans flooded her with messages, and people from her past began to treat her differently. There were moments she doubted herself again, moments she wondered if she could live up to the expectations the world now had for her. It was during one of those nights, sitting alone in her small bedroom, scrolling through endless comments, that her mother came in and said softly, "Remember, Lily, being a hero doesn't mean being perfect. It means having the courage to keep going when it's hard." Those words anchored her. When she returned to perform in the semifinals, she sang not for fame or applause, but for everyone who needed to hear that their struggles didn't define them. That performance wasn't about proving herself, it was about healing. Months later, Lily didn't just make it to the finals, she became a symbol of hope. When she walked onto the stage for the last time, her voice steady and heart open, the crowd rose before she even began. By the end, Every judge was in tears once again, not just from her talent, but from the truth that radiated from her, that no matter where you come from, your light can still shine through the darkness. The competition ended, but Lily's journey had only begun. She started a foundation to help underprivileged kids pursue their passions in music, just like she once dreamed. And every time someone asked her how she found the strength to do it all, she smiled and said, "Because once, I was just a scared girl who sang about heroes, and found out that we all have one inside us." In the end, Lily didn't just win a show, she reminded the world that sometimes, the quietest voices are the ones that echo the loudest. And that even in the smallest town, under the harshest lights, a soul filled with courage can move hearts, heal wounds, and become a hero for millions.